Welcome to the UpViral Copilot Show. I believe this is session number 91, actually. It is January 11th. Oh, man, how does time fly this fast? I just don't get it. The older I get, the faster it goes. I'm 64 and suddenly it's going to be 90. Oh, but it's 2022. How y'all doing? First question. Hi, Glenn. First question, or by the way, do me a favor, and because this is Zoom and there's got to be some way to fix it, but I've never figured out how to fix it. If you're going to comment, please make sure to set your settings to everyone as opposed to just host and panelists, because that way everybody gets to see the comments and it makes it look like it's more exciting. All right. Mark says, are they Apple AirPods Max on the shelf? That is my box. Yes, they are currently here. I bought these some time ago, Mark. I thought you'd seen them. Maybe you haven't. They are nice. I love them. Love them, love them, love them. Could we make this the AirPod show? No. All right. Welcome, everybody. Again, it is January 11th, first real Copilot show. Did you all watch last week? Did you? Were you here last week? Let me know if you were here last week. Keith says, yes, I was here last week. Bob was here. How was it? Just say yes, it was awesome. So for 3 days, Wilco gave a good tutorial on how to use UpViral, how to grow your business, gave you some real good inside tips on several different ways of using UpViral, newsletter, contest, product launch formula kind of stuff. Several awesome different ways. Bob says it was inspiring to say the least. We say that about the Copilot show too, don't you, Bob? Peter says, yes, it was awesome. Keith says it was very informative. I was not able to attend all of the sessions, but I have something going on in my life. My mother-in-law is moving to a senior living community on Fridays. So I'm spending a heck of a lot of time helping my mother-in-law prepare and pack. Huh. I wonder what that means. Kiki, what does that mean? Kiki says, after listening to you for a year, it's hard listening to Wilco. Is that, I'm not sure I want to know what that really means. Mark says, I think I need to move to one of those. Yes, actually, I'm actually eligible to move into the one my mother-in-law is moving into. When you see the amount of things that they do for these seniors in these communities, it would be so freaking awesome because you don't have to do any maintenance. You don't have to do lawn care. You don't have to do any icky stuff around the unit. All you got to do is go to the activities that they plan, and they got so many activities planned every day. They got something going on. Bob says, yikes, a COVID farm? Actually, no. Every one of the people that is in that facility is COVID vaccinated. And yes, I know we could get into COVID all the way, all kinds of things we get into there. We're not going to go down that path. Kiki's updating me. Good morning, Pat. You are great, Mitch. Could you tell everybody on the planet that, Kiki, would you mind? Down to earth and you talk in a way that's easy to understand. Thank you for that. Let me screen grab that and post it absolutely everywhere. Bob says, I had a mom-in-law in one and they shut it down in a heartbeat if only one person tests positive. Yes, I know. I understand all of that. Bob says, oh, I'm not going to save that, Bob. I'm going to say that out loud, what you said. Keith says, grab their email addresses and start a referral program. Ring the bell for Keith. Keith has got it. Gigi's here. Hi, Gigi. Welcome. All right. So today, by the way, what I want from you while you're thinking about this is we're in a new year. What is it that you want me or Mark or William to talk about this year? I know I've got lots of great topics coming up, but I also want to know what y'all want to hear about. I had to turn off that alarm. It's going to drive me bonkers. Focus. Do not disturb. Yay, love my Mac. Mark says, do not drag me into your crazy ideas. Bob says, I want to know feature roadmaps. Do you hear that, Mark? Do you hear that, Mark? I'm not the only one begging all the time to find out what you're going to be implementing in UpViral. Everybody else wants to know. I'm constantly begging Mark, hey, what are y'all working on? What's coming down the road? Could you give me a hint? I'm already under NDA. Anyway. What else do you want to know? What topics would you love? Keith, good one. A bit more on business to business, maybe. All right, I'm going to write that one down because I know that's a popular topic. I know Rob Hegert asked about that the other day. Business to business. Pat says, Mitch, how come you never broadcast in front of an exotic car parked in front of a vacation rental mansion? I don't know, because I can't afford I can't afford to even rent the Maserati or the fancy exotic car, much less the vacation place. Kiki says yes to business to business. Feature requests have been implemented, says Steve from Thailand. Mark says, what do you mean exactly business to business? Can you give me some examples? So business to consumer, typically what we are doing when we talk about contests or any of the other stuff, we typically are talking about people who are selling widgets to consumers. Let's talk the Bunkies, for example, the Dave Fraser. By the way, did you guys see that he was on the Canadian version of Shark Tank? I don't know what they call the Canadian version, but he got a deal for $1 million from all 5 of the sharks that are on that show. Yes, $1 million deal for selling his bunkies. And you want to know, I'll go back to this maple tank. Mark, you are hilarious. Dragon's Den. Thank you, Joe. Did you know, do you remember that David Fraser, the bunkie guy, started his business with a contest? It's a little known fact, but he was trying to decide if he should start selling these bunkies. And so what he did was he very first marketing that he did was to run a contest to find out if people would be interested. And he gave away a $7,000 bunkie. They were $7,000 at the time. He got over 12,000 leads on his very first campaign, and he launched his business. So you guys don't think contests work. I know some of you think, oh, contests don't work. Contest leads don't buy. David just got $1 million deal from the Canadian Shark Tank called Dragon's Den. Thank you, Joe. 5 years ago, he started with a contest. It works. You just have to know how to do it, which leads me right into, oh, I haven't finished David's Mark's question. So business to business, that's business to consumer, right? Business to business. I did start the recording. There it is. All right. Business to business is some service, maybe a SaaS, maybe it's a service organization, like an agency. Mark's been an agency before. He talked in episode number 22, I don't remember what episode number, about starting an agency. Well, an agency is serving other businesses. So the question comes up, can I use a tool like UpViral to help me find businesses who would be interested in my service? Okay, Mark says, I got that, but do you mean business-to-business templates? Yeah, well, theoretically, and typically what I tell people to do that are doing business-to-business is to find a way to not necessarily use the sharing to Facebook, the global share to everybody, but what you really want to turn a business-to-business campaign into is a referral marketing, right? You want people who are interested in your business to say, hey, business number 2, I know you'd be interested in this service that's going on over here. So you're turning it more into a referral program, which of course UpViral does very well. Jeff says businesses don't share as much as consumers. They don't want competition. Well, but it isn't so much trying to find the competition, Jeff. It's about finding people who are interested in your service. So anyway, we could potentially do that. All right. So today's show, let's see if I missed anything. Use a green screen and you can show anything. That goes back to the question about the exotic car and the mansion. All right. Kiki also says more ideas and for incentives. All right, got that. Now, shall we get started? And by the way, if you think of something else during the show, things you would love us to cover here on the Co-Pilot Show, whether it's me or Mark or Wilco, still on, I don't know, have we gotten Wilco on here yet? Any of those types of topics that you want to know more about. Next week, I have a plan to do a show that we did last year. Mark and I did it actually, but I built a campaign in 30 minutes or less. There have been a lot of new features added into UpViral in the last year. And so what I thought would be a good idea, let me know whether you think this is a good idea or not, is to build a campaign in 30 minutes or less in the new version of UpViral, because there are lots of things that are new and different in the world. Keith says, good idea. Thank you. I thought so. And then the week after that's going to be a Q&A show. Richard says, yes. Jeff says the 30-minute campaign is great. All right, so you guys tune in next week. We're going to do that. Clark says, bring it on. Peter says, good idea. Thank you very much. And please remember to switch to all to everyone instead of just hosts and panelists. All right. So today's topic is kind of a general overview, kind of a topic, but at the same time, these things are critical to getting your campaign to be a success, in my opinion. I was actually going through an interview I did some, I don't know, a year or two ago. And one of the questions was, what are 3 things that you think people should focus on in order to make their campaign a success? So I've stole the idea and I've turned it into a presentation. All right, so what are the 3 things? Number 1 is, oh, let me back up, because the artist said, hey, Mitch, we are not into generic campaigns. Can you suggest something for a particular product or an online course? And we're going to talk about a little bit about that. So if you'll hang on, yes. He says the number one thing is the offer. I always say that. And so, yes, I'll ring the bell for Keith. But what is the precursor to the offer? Thank you for answering, by the way, Keith. Thank you. Appreciate it very much. What's the precursor to the offer? Planning. Oh my gosh, look at that. Keith rocks. Headline for an option incentive. No, headlines are not it. Part of the reason, by the way, UpViral used to have things set up. So the very first thing that you did in UpViral was to build your landing page. And a long time ago, I had a conversation with Ben, who was the product manager at the time, and he and I talked about it. Anyway, one of the very first things that you have to do in UpViral is to create your prizes and your incentives before you ever get to the landing page. Demetrio says, story hook offer. Pat. Okay. Jeff says ClickFunnels. How to resolve an issue they have. Tell how to resolve an issue. Yes, that's okay, Pat. Caps are all right. I got it. So I'm going to go back. My generic number one first tip is planning. Now, I know that many of the tool builders, including UpViral, want to focus on making the campaign creation as easy as possible. In fact, one of the vendors that I have worked with that is not UpViral, I shouldn't say worked with, I've talked to them, they claim you can build a contest in 5 minutes. I think that's a horrific idea. I've talked about this on the Copilot show before. You can't build a good campaign without doing planning. Now, I understand that implementing it in the tool is what they're trying to focus on with the 5 minutes or the 10 minutes or the 30 minutes, whatever time frame they're trying to do the marketing for. But the idea really should be, hey, Joe and Paula, you got to put a great plan together first. Mark says, what do my visitors to my UpViral page need to know to join it? Yeah, exactly. So planning. The first thing you have to do is sit down and do planning. And part of that planning, I'm going to go back to something that I do all the time. And that is, in order to do the planning, you have to understand the tool. Jeff says, can you break down the steps of the plan? Yes, we're going to talk a little bit about that. My key, however, is that one of the very first things you have to understand is this diagram. And we have talked about it before. We've shown it before. If you don't understand the funnel, you can't make a very good plan. Now, this is the UpViral funnel. A lot of people, somebody mentioned ClickFunnels earlier. A lot of people have talked about making multiple page funnels. But if you don't understand how UpViral works in a very simplistic way, then you're going to get your head wrapped around things. I have people come to me all the time and say, Mitch, I want to do 4-page funnel. In fact, somebody this last day or two in the UpViral group said, hey, I want to replace the ClickFunnels order form with the UpViral opt-in form. Can I do that? And I don't remember who that was, but no offense, if you really know the way UpViral works, you would say, okay, no, I can't do that. Yes, you can go into ClickFunnels and you can put the UpViral form embedded in the ClickFunnels page, or you can use their form and send the data over to UpViral. But if you're doing a purchase process, what the person is going to do in the purchase process is say, I want that thing. Here's my name and my email. And the next step is going to be, give me your credit card, right? You want the credit card. And therefore, if you understand the UpViral process, UpViral in this process is going to send somebody from the opt-in page to the share page, not to an order page, not somewhere else. UpViral is a two-page process. If you use UpViral the way it was built, when you opt in, this page here is the opt-in. When they put their name and their email in, they are physically going to be sent to the share page. You cannot change that. Now, there are some technical sneaky ways that I've made that change happen, but the 99% of the people on the planet can't figure that out, don't want to figure it out, don't know how to even go about it. Okay. The UpViral process is you're bringing direct traffic in on the left-hand side of this diagram to the lead page. They opt in, whether it's an opt-in or a lead magnet or a webinar, whatever way you're using UpViral, they click a button and then they get to the sharing page. That's the process. That's the funnel. That's the only way you can make it happen. Then you're asking people on the right-hand side on the share page to do some activities, whether it's social media or custom actions, those kinds of things. That's what you're asking them to do, which is very different than any other opt-in or purchase or any other funnel. And this is where the gold of UpViral is, because that sharing brings in new traffic to you, and that traffic is free. It doesn't cost you anything. Well, okay, little bits, right? So y'all with me here? If you understand the process and the functions that you can do, like this social media sharing, then what you get to do is build a plan to run a contest or an opt-in or a webinar or whatever. Now, if you've ever seen me do some of the other process flows, like for a webinar, for example, or an opt-in, you know what they look like? They look like this. It's the same funnel. They just have different dangly bits. It's the same funnel. It's a two-page process. Now, I will say that if you get really sophisticated and you go out and look at Gabe Schillinger example that is in the case studies for UpViral, you will see that he actually did a 5-page process. But the first 2 pages of his process were UpViral. You can't put UpViral at the end because of the way UpViral refers people. You want people to be in the front when they get referred. You want them in the very first page of the funnel. You don't want them on page 4 or 5. UpViral has to be the first 2 pages of the funnel process. Okay, do you guys get that? Have I beat that into your head enough? You got to understand the tool. Jeff says, I would love to see some custom action templates. I've been talking to Danny about that. So I too would love to see that. I don't know if it's going to be implemented anytime soon, if at all. Can't make any promises, but I have talked to Danny specifically about that topic. And if you want that, make sure that somebody in the UpViral team knows. Let's see, is Mark still here? Oh, Mark's gone. Oh, dang it. If you go to features.upviral.com, Jeff says, where's the suggestion form? Go to features.upviral.com. Demetrios, has anybody used UpViral to successfully promote garage sales? Great question. I don't have any specific examples of that, but that's a great idea. Great idea. The answer would be yes, you can. Christine, hi, Christine. How you doing? Put UpViral on the thank you page. Thank you for your purchase. There's a discount for the next 24 hours. If you invite 3 friends, here's a larger discount free gift. Christine gets it. Yes, you can put UpViral on the thank you page. Absolutely. You can take your existing funnel for a purchase and slap UpViral on the back end in several different ways. But the key to that is that still, when people refer, they're not going to the front of the purchase process. They're just going to the front of the UpViral process, right? So there isn't any purchase required kind of idea there. You can do that. Have seen it done, have done it. All right. So planning. There are 2 real tips. Let's see, where am I going? So here's my suggestion. Steve says, do you recall any case studies for a book launch? Yes, as a matter of fact, I do. There's 2 of them. One of them is the water charity example, if you go into the case studies on UpViral. The other is the Max Rhymes children's book case study. And somebody you know was the guy that put that entire product together. So there are at least 2 case studies in the UpViral case studies about book launches. I will tell you, this is Mitch. In my mastermind one day, we decided to dive into the water charity book launch, and I think they totally botched their process. And I would have totally designed it differently. They considered it a success, but I think they could have done a much better job the way they built it. They did not understand the UpViral process. That's my, if they had consulted with me, it would have been built differently. Steve says, I recall the kids' book one now. I wasn't overly thrilled with it. Sorry, I can't please everybody. They were very happy with the result. Great question, Demetrios. Can we control the sharing by location? Nope. Would be wonderful, but no, there's no way to control social media to post only to people that live in Poland. Sorry, doesn't happen. Great question though. Now, here's, if you have yet, how many of you have never built an UpViral campaign? Are there some of you here that have never built one? Demetrios says me. Richard says me. Glenn says me. Peter says me. Well, bless your little hearts. Clark, bless you for being here. So here is what I want you to do. Ian's over in the Facebook group. Hi, Ian. Oh, Claudia's there too. Hi, Claudia. Rob's here. Rob, of course, asked me, do you have any video training of doing a business? You missed us earlier talking about that. The answer is no, I don't, but we're going to potentially do a show about that. Oh, now Claudia's over here. Hi. Jeff says, I think Demetrios meant only show to people in Poland options to share on the media we choose. No, you can use UpViral to restrict the opt-ins by country, but that's it. As Kiki says, you can control it from your form field to select your country, and you can send that data over to your autoresponder so you can tag those people based on country if you had that as an opt-in field, but otherwise, no. Demetrius, I'm so sorry. Demetrius says, my mother passed away at the end of October, so I've been missing in action. I'm sorry to hear that. My sympathies to you and your family. Glenn says, I am here. I want to build one for Valentine's Day. Interesting. Maybe when I do the 30-minute build next week, maybe I should do a Valentine's Day one. What do you think? That might be a good idea. I'm going to write that down. Great idea. Everybody's like, yes, that's a great idea. Glenn says, I'm selling online jewelry. I have done online jewelry for a client as well, by the way. All right, so what do you have to do planning? Number one, as I don't remember who said earlier, I'm sorry, I forgot who, it's all about the offer, right? It is all about the offer. Let's see, I got this all set up. I want to show you, right? It is all about the offer. Let's see if this actually works. There it is. All right, and here's the other key. My friend Bradley, who's in the UpViral group, and he happens to be back recently giving some advice, says the offer is everything. You have to be enticing people who are willing to crawl through broken glass to get it. This is hard. Creating your offer is hard. And I'm going to use Bradley as an example. Actually, let's do that. Bradley had a client who was in the survival niche. See if Bradley's here. He's not here. Bradley is in the survival niche, his client. And what they started out doing, he's told this story many times, and he's told me it's okay, I can share this story. They were testing things like camping stoves. So the survival niche, we're talking about the preppers, the people who think the planet's going to end and they need to be ready. So what they started out with was camping stoves, camping chairs, tents, that kind of stuff for prizes. And what they ended up with, I think I have this example. No, it's not there. It's here. And you guys can see this, right? So what they came up with, the thing that worked the best was this campaign. They offered a $97, $98 value flashlight. At the top, they had a strong benefit-driven headline. I mean, this is straight from him. They have a picture of the product. They have the authority/proof, this section here. Simple call to action, give me your name and your email. And then off you go to win. This is a very effective page. Somebody mentioned it earlier. I like to give credit, but I can't find it that quickly. You have to talk about the pain points first. I mean, typically what we want to talk about with people is how your product or service is going to change them. When I do the review shows, I talk about this all the time. If you are not being effective in your messaging, people aren't going to opt in. So this is where the planning comes into play. If you know the process, right, you got the opt-in and then the share page. The purpose of the opt-in page, the landing page, the one I just showed you, is singular. Get their email. How do you do that? You tell them about the pain point. You tell them about the offer, what they could get if they give up their email address. And then you get them to give up the email address. And you make combinations of those kinds of things to get them to opt in. And if your offer is not convincing them to crawl through broken glass, as Bradley said, they ain't going to give up their email address. They ain't just going to do it. I've seen it happen over and over and over. And people come to me and they say, why isn't my campaign working? And what we do is we go in and we look at those things. If you cannot get them, and people are very serious about their email addresses. If you don't give them enough of a reason to give up their email address, it ain't going to happen, and your opt-in rates are going to be low, and you're going to say that UpViral doesn't work, when in fact it's your marketing that sucks. I'm brutal about this. If you don't have an offer that's going to convince them to opt in, you're stuck. I'm going to give you another example. If I do this right, let's see. I don't think you can see that, right? I have to go to my sharing. This is a very simple, it's a different tool. We're not talking about the tool. What I'm talking about is this opt-in up here at the top. Win a $50 Amazon gift card. Simple. You don't have to make it complicated. In that case, the company that was offering that was called Freebie Depot. They know that they're going to present offers like free coupons, free things, all kinds of different things down the road. All they had to do was offer a $50 Amazon gift card. It's all about the offer and presenting the offer in a way that gets people to give up their email address. They got over 10,000 opt-ins from what I could tell. Is that the right offer for you? Heck no, don't do it. Have I done a $50 Amazon gift card? Yes, but I've done that as a test to find out what's working for certain things. I didn't use the email addresses for anything, but I tested how things were working. So here's, I'm going to answer that in a minute. Here's the thing you got to think about with planning. And it's actually, I'm going to jump ahead. So option number two, thing number two that you need to be successful with. Bruce says, wow, a lot of gems being dropped here. Thank you, Bruce. Yes. And this is the key for all of you that haven't started yet. You got to do the planning. If you throw up, like let's say Mr. Jewelry guy, who was that, Glenn? I'm into jewelry. If Glenn throws up a $50 Amazon gift card that says, and win $50 Amazon gift card, the people aren't going to be the right people, right? So number two is about knowing your avatar. You got to create a plan. And no, I didn't go through a whole bunch of steps. But number two is knowing your avatar. Because I know somebody asked about all the steps. I can't give you all the steps, but it's fairly easy. Number two is to know your avatar. And actually, all three of these things are about planning, if you think about it. I hadn't thought about it till just now. I'll give you another example. The one that I was talking, I can't come up with his name, starts with the letter O. The jewelry gentleman that was a client of mine, in the very first meeting I had with him, Omri is his name, Omri. Very first meeting I had with him, I was expecting what usually happens when I talk to people as a potential client. I say, who's your avatar? And usually they don't know. They've never really thought about it, which is kind of unfortunate because this is critical to running your business. Every guru out there tells you when you're starting your business, you need to know who's going to buy your stuff, right? But yet so many people, especially solopreneurs like me, and I spend a lot of time worrying about this topic, is figuring out who your avatar is. Who's the person that's going to buy from you? In Omri's case, I said, all right, got some gorgeous jewelry. Who's your avatar? Who buys the most from you? Expecting him not to know the answer. And he said, and this is not a political statement, this is simply his answer at the time was, my buyers are Trump fans, women who are over 50 years old. That was his avatar. He knew. He'd talked to them. He'd interviewed them. He'd done the research to figure out who they are. And he could craft his marketing to go after those specific people. And we did. If you don't know who your buyer is, how can you address their pain point? You don't, because one of the things that marketers will tell you, by the way, if you haven't been through Marketing 101, is that you want the people that are landing on your page to feel like you know their pain. If you can say, hey, I know, I'm not going to use the Trump thing as an example but anyway, I know that you are struggling to build your business and you want leads. I'm in the same boat. I figured out how to do it by building contests. So if you just say excuse me, if you just say something simple like that, then as people start reading the page, they feel that you know them and that potentially what you're offering is going to solve their problem. What's the other benefit of that? Huge benefit is that if they're not an online entrepreneur that is struggling to get leads, they're gone. They're leaving, right? Because you don't want those people on your page and you don't want them opting in because they're not your perfect avatar. You need to know what motivates them. You need to know what they don't want. And you need to know where the hell they are. Why? Well, going back to you got to crawl through broken glass. Okay, that's not showing up. There it is. If you go back to this, if you know who they are, where they are, and why they want the thing that you're offering, then your campaign is going to be much more successful and potentially go viral than anything else. Let me remind you something here. Bradley and his team and many of the other teams that I've worked with, they did, I just read the chat, sorry. What they did was split testing or campaign testing. They made an offer, they tested it, saw the results. They made another offer, they tested it, saw the results. If you are not spending time looking at your results, and there's an entire episode in the Copilot archives, and I meant to grab the episode number and I apologize for not doing that. There's an entire episode on looking at your reports and figuring out why people aren't opting in, or if they are, why they're sharing or not sharing, etc. You should spend time watching that. I think it was highly valuable, if I say so myself. Demetrios, for those having difficulty, script copywriters is another option. Yes, you definitely can hire people to help you figure this out. Split testing is a freaking amazing way of making that happen. So what's one of the things that you should be coming out of that with that is one of the biggest reasons why campaigns fail in UpViral land? Anybody want to tell me what that is? I know, that was pretty vague. Pretty vague. All right, it's too vague. The reason that drives me the most crazy, it's all right, forget the question. The two people said, what was the question? It was very vague and not well formed, I confess. One of the things that drives me the most crazy is that people are not a Bradley. And I don't mean that by the fact that Bradley is an expert marketer and he knows what to say and what to do and all that. What I mean by it is I see so many people run one campaign, they look at the results, and they say, that didn't work, and they leave. They quit using the tool. I'm gonna quickly, let's see if I can find it. I saw it this morning. Examples, success stories, that's where I want. That's not it either. Sorry, examples. I have a little thing called a Stream Deck. Success stories, no, it's Matrix. Horse. It's taking, oh, there it is. Now you guys can see this, right? This is my friend Heike. I do the Winnie because she was in horses. It's blurry, doesn't matter, you don't have to read it. This is her giveaway page on her website. Each one of these little boxes is a giveaway. This top one, July, August, September, March, went backwards, January, June, May, they're out of order, who cares? My point being that she ran a freaking campaign every month for 2 years. I'm having a hard time getting back to where I need to be to turn it off. Funny. So she came to me, I'll give you the little backstory. She came to me and she said, Mitch, I want to run a contest. I have a horse community. I've got a whole bunch of people that I want to join my horsey community, and I have advertisers lined up. But I told the advertisers that I would not ask them to pay me any money until I had 500 subscribers to my website, to my community. What did she say she was going to give as the very first gift on a first contest? A $250 Amazon gift card. And I said, that's where the horse comes in. The horse comes in and I said, whoa! How's that for a bad pun? I said, Heike, you cannot give away an Amazon gift card. I know that your horse people will buy horse stuff on Amazon. I know where you're going with that. I see it. But you have to look at it from the perspective of the person seeing the campaign, and it just says, win a $50 Amazon gift card, $250 Amazon gift card, and your grandma's going to show up, your grandpa, the aunt from New Jersey that doesn't care about horses is going to go, heck yes, I want to win that. So what she ended up doing, now on the right page, How did I get there? Presentation, success stories, no, matrix, horse. Here's the form that she created on her campaign. It's coming. There it is. And I know it's a little blurry, but let me just tell you that it was a gift card, receive a free subscription to Horse World Connect, name, first name, last name, email. This bottom thing that says Mitch's Horsey Store, the question was, what's the name of the local tack and feed shop where you will spend this $200? And I know you probably can't read those small details, but it says win a $200 gift card to your favorite tack shop or feed store. So she specifically, on my advice, crafted a similar offer that says you can go spend $200, but it has to be at your local tack and feed shop. What does this do? It does two things. Number one, it eliminates anybody that doesn't want it, because they're going to get down to this fourth box and they're going to say, I don't know the name of a tack and feed shop. I'm working on it, Jeff. I'm going to tell you in a minute. Joe, same question. I'm getting there. She crafted her offer, going back to what I've talked about so far. She planned her campaign. She crafted her offer. She knew what her avatar was. And she crafted this form to say, I only want people who are interested in my offer, by eliminating people that didn't know the name of a tack and feed shop. But oh, by the way, she also got a list of a whole bunch of tack and feed shops that she could go market to ask them to be an advertiser on her website. How's that? Two birds, one stone. Kiki says, great example of how you can do a local-based campaign. Yes. Why do you think I show you this stuff? Thank you, Kiki. Good eyes. Kiki is doing what my mentor Tom said. Mitch, always be thinking, how does this apply to me? Right? This may not be, you may not be a horsey person, but there's so many nuggets of gold here using Peter's, whoever it was. Right? It's all about the planning. If she had not spent the time to do the planning, to know her avatar, she never would have been successful. First month, okay, here's the question. Everybody says, how many leads did she get? She needed 500. She got 620 in 3 weeks. She could then go tell her people, her advertisers, okay, I'm charging. Jeff says, how and where did she advertise? She didn't advertise. She sent this to her main list. She already had a small number, I think it was 200 people on her list. And she didn't have to advertise, because the people, the crafting of the last part, was part number 3. Are we able to get a template for this? I don't have the template, actually. Glenn, number 1, this is an old template. This was built 3 years ago in the UpViral old templates. But it was not something that I could copy to my account, so I don't have it. And I know she's not using UpViral anymore. She's gone a different direction. But the point is still valid. So in her first 3 weeks, she got 620 leads. Now, I know a whole bunch of you people are going, well, that didn't freaking go viral, right? That didn't go viral. Why didn't it go viral? She used UpViral. Why didn't it go viral? My definition of viral is, Demetrio says it wasn't meant to be. Heike was ecstatic. She was absolutely jumping down, excited. You don't have to get 5,000, 10,000, 100,000 leads. People, quit focusing on the big numbers. I know Wilco. Let's see if Mark's still. I know Wilco and the marketing crew love to show you examples of people who have gotten tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, maybe even just 3,200, because I remember the example of the guy that built his campaign and got 3,200 leads in the first 15 days. It's not about the big numbers. The question is, are they highly targeted leads? In Heike's case, she knew that those people would be the people that her advertisers were interested in. Thank you, Kiki. Quantity over quality over quantity. Highly targeted leads are much more valuable. I would love to have 600 people that are willing to spend money on horse stuff. And you know, horse people have to have food. They have to have things for their horses. You got to have that. You got to have highly targeted leads. Okay. And cheap. Yeah, you want them to be inexpensive, but you know, so many people on Facebook will pay $4 to $10 for leads. I know people that are paying $30, $40, $50 for a lead, but as long as they can sell $200 to a $30 lead, they're happy about it, right? Yes, this does lower the cost of leads because you're doing the sharing, which is tip number 3 in my list of the 3 things. Number 1 was planning. Number 2 was know your avatar. Number 3 is you got to realize what I just said about those numbers. The hardest thing that people have to figure out with UpViral is that nobody that enters your contest wants to share. Yes, I know. UpViral is about sharing. UpViral is about referring. UpViral is about getting all these people. Let me go back to this. UpViral is about this. I told you at the beginning, it was about this section over here, the social media section. About the sharing buttons, and off of this is also the custom actions, but we don't care about the custom actions because the custom actions don't ask people to share. They're only about giving them points, entries for the campaign, getting them to do something for you, as opposed to helping you build your business leads. That's the social sharing is only built for that. I'm going to put that back up. Sorry. Go out of the way. Paint window. This section over here. Let me say it a 3rd, 4th, 5th time till I'm blue in the face. Nobody wants to share. Did anybody hear me say that? In my experience, in looking at the data, the average campaign, even with all of the skills that I have and all of the knowledge that I've built over the last 7 years of doing this, the most I've ever been able to get is 40% of the people to share. On average, I can get 35% of the people to do sharing. Are you listening to me? If you don't understand this part, you cannot, will not build a good campaign. Demetrios says, why is that? Jeff says nobody wants to share. Let's suppose you're running a contest. This is all right. Let's suppose you're running a contest like Heike did for $200 of a horsey gift set, right? Whatever, you know. Let's go back. Let's suppose you're doing $50 Amazon gift card. Demetrios, you've just registered for the Amazon $50 gift card. How many people do you want to be in the pot to win that $50 Amazon gift card? Demetrios. Answer me. 0. No, the answer is 1. Good try. The answer is 1. That's you. But you don't want anybody else. You're absolutely right. You don't want to share with anybody else. You don't want to give other people a chance to win. So even if you give them all these sharing tools, what are they going to do? They're going to do nothing. Jeff says this is why businesses don't share also. Yes. But if you don't understand this item number 3 of my list of 3 things, if you do not understand that people natively don't want to share your campaign, contest, lead magnet, webinar, whatever, giving them points for sharing ain't going to do it. You have to come up with a whole variety of ways to incentivize them to share. Keith says a 3 prize strategy. Yes, we've talked about that before. Absolutely. Johan says give the same prize to the referrer as the winner. That's part of the 3 prize trilogy. Every share must have value, not a liability. These are absolutely true facts. I did a survey a long time ago. Let me pull this up. Sharing. I did a survey about why people won't share your contest. Main reasons were I don't want to spam my friends. 68%. Number 2, I don't think my friends would be interested, 24%. Additional entries won't give me a better chance to win, 10%. I don't have social media accounts, 10%. There were a whole bunch of other reasons. I asked them, if I change the number of points, would you engage more? 78% said no. 78% no. See, this is what I talk about constantly, about looking at numbers and finding what the right word is that you're thinking about. Finding the exact reason and understanding the processes and understanding your avatar and knowing why people don't want to do this. If you don't understand these things, your campaign's never going to freaking work. Kiki says, Mitch, that guy Rodrigo from Brazil gave a great way to get 100% sharing figure by remarketing to your list over and over and over again. Different contests for new people and existing people. It was brilliant. Copilot show 1114. I did not watch that. I guess I need to go back and watch that because I need to learn more. But even so, I mean, I've never seen a campaign get shared 100%. And even if you go in and look at UpViral's numbers in the reporting tab and it says 100%, it doesn't really mean 100%. Don't be confused. That's part of what I say. You got to understand the tool. So I need to go back and watch that because I bet what he saw was that number said 100%, but it's not really 100%. I'll give you a quickie. So the way UpViral does that number on that page, if you had 5 people enter your campaign and 4 people do nothing, but 1 person shares 5 times, then you get 100%. Doesn't really mean everybody shared and that's 100%. So you have to be careful. Kiki says, not just in one contest, but you got to understand the data. Rodrigo's was an evergreen newsletter. Okay, I got to go back and watch that. I do have a newsletter process, by the way. 100% is the end. He doubled the amount of leads. Well, that's very different than 100% of the people sharing. Okay, so we do have to understand our numbers. All right, but the key to this is people inherently don't want to share. People do not want to share. So you have to figure out this. In this case, for example, I offered 5 additional entries. They got a little blue slab here. 10 additional entries was 17%. Okay. You got to figure this out. Jeff has asked a very good question. I don't think there's anything else. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in here, but I mainly wanted to show you that chart. What are the top 5 reasons people do share? Again, Jeff says, I love the chart. If you don't look at your data, you don't understand whether or not your campaign worked or not. I'll give you an example. My friend AJ, who's in my mastermind, we looked at his very first campaign. He looked at only one thing on the reports tab. What is that one thing that he looked at? I can guarantee you everybody's going to give me the same answer. Jeff just said it. See if anybody else says it. I'm gonna give it. Let's see. I see if I have UpViral open. I don't have it open. Jeff said it. Anybody else? What's the number one thing people look at on the reports page? We'll just pick up this one. Anybody else besides Jeff? Anybody? Come on. What is the number one thing you look at on the reports page? Claudia said it. Jeff said it. The number one thing people look at is this number right here. Total leads. So AJ looks at his total leads in his campaign. I don't remember the exact numbers, but let's just make it up. In his campaign, he had 1,000 leads. And he looked at the conversion rate. Let's say it's 15%. I showed him that he had 100 direct leads and he had 900 referred leads. He never even looked at these 2 columns. All he cared about was this one. He was getting, and I'm exaggerating, let's go. It was 300 direct leads and let's do 2. Anyway, it's 300 direct leads and 700 not. The math is bad. He was getting 3 referrals for every 1 person that came into his campaign directly. This right here, this number, referred leads, is the most important thing on the page. If you're not looking at that, then you're screwing up your UpViral campaign. If you are looking to see whether your UpViral campaign worked, direct leads is not the answer. Yes, it's important. But if you are getting, in AJ's case, he was getting, so my number here is what? 6 divided by 26, right? 23%. In this campaign, I'm getting 23% referrals. That's 0.23, right? In AJ's case, he was getting 3 leads. He was getting 300% free leads. But he never knew it. He didn't know what he was looking at. You guys have got to look at the numbers. He was crushing it in terms of getting people to share. Jeff's question earlier is, what are the top things that people do to get people to refer others? We figured it out from AJ, what he was doing. It's different. I know you guys are going to be mad. It's different for every campaign. There are, I don't know if there's really 5. It just depends. It depends upon what your offer is. Earlier, we talked about the trifecta, the 3 prize strategy. Somebody said, what's the 3 prizes, or what's the 3 winners? Number 1, number 1, my brain was going somewhere else. Sorry. I distracted myself. Number 1, random draw. In that survey that I was talking about why people don't share, one of the things that people told me was that if a campaign is a most points campaign, they typically, one of the bottom answers was, I don't have any social media. I don't have a big enough audience to win. If it's a most points campaign, I can't possibly win, so I'll never register. And if I find out if it's a most points campaign and I did register, I ain't going to share it. So you got to understand the motivation of people. Number 2 is the person who referred the random draw winner gets prize number 2. So the question before about why would I share? If you're doing a your friend wins, you win 2 campaign, which is the second prize there, when you ask them to share, you say, hey, look, if you get Betty Lou to sign up underneath you, then if she wins, then you get the same prize. So you've now just doubled your chance to win. Oh, by the way, for every person that you get to opt in, we're going to give you 50 extra chances to win. So now you've got 51 chances to win just by inviting Betty Lou. So you're taking all the risk off of inviting people. Number 3, the third way is the most points, because there are a small group of people that will bust their tails to refer everybody they know. Why not appeal to those people? They're going to work their tail off for you to help you build your list. Why do I say that? In a campaign that I did for a client, Tom, the guy I was talking about earlier, had actually, I don't think I have it. Do I have it? Dang it. I know I got it on this thing somewhere, but it's going to take me too long to find it. Never mind. In that campaign, we were giving away a trip to Hawaii for a business conference. In that campaign, I looked at the data afterwards because there was a most points perception in that campaign. The top 10 people referred 75% of all the leads. Let me say that again. The top 10 people referred 75% of the entire group. How did I know that? I looked at the data. You gotta look at the data to see what's going on. Jeff says, I would love to see a real world campaign created from planning and execution to testing, tweaking, adjusting, following the life cycle of a campaign. The more detail you talk about on these campaigns, the more gold nuggets you reveal. That's why people join me. Anyway, yes. Christine did say leads, but should be where they are from. Yes, you need to look at your data to find out where they're coming from. You need to be using the UpViral tools to put out custom tracking links. So trying to finish off Jeff's, what are the top 5 reasons people do share? Incentives, points, chances to win are the top 2. Incentives, rewards, they used to be called rewards in UpViral. They're now labeled as incentives, but then you see rewards somewhere else. So those 2 words work together. You have to incentivize people. You have to give Betty Lou the reason to share it with her neighbor, Joanne. If you don't give her reasons, incentives, points, chances to win, she ain't going to do it. So those are the top 2. I don't know what the other 3 are. It depends upon the campaign. Pat says, what are the technical differences between a giveaway and a sweepstakes? None. depending upon what words you're using. And I laugh about this all the time because I convinced UpViral, I convinced Wilco several years ago, they were using the word contest, and I convinced them to switch it to sweepstakes, because in the United States, if you go look at contest law or sweepstakes law, whatever you want to call it, a contest is defined as a game of skill. This is also true in Canada. A contest is defined as a game of skill. I take that back. It's not defined that way in Canada. It's flipped in Canada. I take that back. A contest is defined as a game of skill. For example, win a trip to the Bahamas by singing the best song. Some kind of thing that is judged. A contest is judged in the United States. Outside of the United States, a contest is a sweepstake. So depends upon the words you're using. A sweepstake in the United States is a game of chance, right? The random draw thing. Get one entry, you got one chance to win. You get 3 entries, you get 3 chances to win. And it's all weighted, and drawings are done based on weighting. How many points you have is what I mean by weighting, not physical weight or time or anything. So it depends what your definition is. A contest, in my words, is judged. A sweepstakes or a giveaway and sweepstakes, the same kind of word, is something that is random draw. Peter says, I have to go. Thanks for a great show. See you next week. Thank you, Peter. Appreciate you being here. Pat says, sweepstakes reminds me of old Reader's Digest where parents subscribed to when I was a kid. Yes. Does it have a bad connotation for younger people? I don't know. I'm 64. I don't know. Francisco says, thank you. You're welcome. So yes, Jeff, I don't know that I can physically build an entire campaign and all the planning, execution. We have done a little bit of that here in the Copilot show, but what you're talking about is something that is a long-term project. And again, that's what I do for my people. Just come be one of my people, Jeff. Let's talk. Let's see. Claudia said something good. She got thumbs up. Yeah. All right. That was, let's see. There was another question, I think. Oh, Jeff said winners should be random. One of the winners should be random. If you're using my 3 pride strategy, yes. Somebody, Pat says, you want 100% of the people to be interested in your product in the first place and qualified to buy it. Yes, absolutely. All right. Suggest, D Artist says, suggest an online course campaign. Jeff says a whole month of shows for doing that. Can you look at my long question, please? Where did it? Did I miss it, Pat? Way back 30, almost an hour ago. We're launching a premium product. Here, let me finish before I answer that. So here's the summary of realizing nobody wants to share. Number 1, you need to split test, like I mentioned about Bradley's campaign. Split test. And inside one campaign, you can split test. And by split test, I also mean run multiple campaigns like Heike did to find out what's working and not working. Lastly, I want you to study the data that we just talked about. If you're not looking at the internals of the data, then you can't tell if campaign 1 did better than campaign 2, because it ain't just about the total number of leads. It's about the referrals, the ratio of referrals to direct. It's about Who did what social? Who did what custom actions? You got to look at all that stuff to figure out what's working and what's not working. Okay, so the 3 things that I came here to tell you about was planning. I know somebody said, can you go through all the steps? I'm running out of time. I'm way over. But basically what you want to do is know who your avatar is, which is the second part of it. Know what your offer is, and then realize that nobody wants to share. If you think about all those things really deeply, and again, they're all really sort of part of planning, then you're going to have a much better campaign in the long run. And here's my last tip before I get to Pat's question. Start small. For those of you, there were a whole bunch of you that raised your hand that said, no, I've never run a campaign. Do not try to throw in all the bells and whistles in your first campaign. I have done this with clients. Start with a very simple campaign. Don't do custom actions. Just do social sharing. For example, a simple campaign. I'm going to give away a $50 Amazon gift card. You know that's the wrong price. I've talked about it, but I'm giving you an example. $50 Amazon gift card, and here's how many points you get to share. It will help you understand what people are willing to do to share just by doing that initial offer. Find something in your niche, make it customized, of course. Then in the next campaign, add another flavor of UpViral, say custom actions. And then in the next campaign, step it up to the 3 prize strategy. And then in the next campaign, do something else. Understand what you're doing as you grow. The people that fail the most are the people that try to put all the bells and whistles in the very first campaign. They don't understand the flow. They don't understand the process. They didn't do planning. They throw the wrong offer out to the wrong audience, and they fail and they blame the tool. It's not the tool. It's you. If the campaign fails, it's you. But also realize that a failed campaign is a learning opportunity. If you go in and look at the data and find out what you did wrong, think about it. Ask some people. Somebody wants to know what's the best offer. Ask your avatar. Find out what they want to win. Ask the people. It's not that hard. All right, Pat's question. And thank you so much for paying attention to me. We are launching a premium product from my pre-launch campaign. I feel there's a focus on a freebie. I will get a lot of people that are interested in free stuff. By the way, I've talked to a bunch of people that run contests, just purely talking about contests right now. Most of them gave me the same estimate. I said, how many people are just there to win the prize? Their answer was 20%. Don't know if that's factual or not. It depends upon the offer. It depends upon a whole bunch of things. But just assume that you're going to get 20% of people that are just going to unsubscribe if they didn't win. That's okay. You've got 80% of new people. Figure out how to get rid of those people that just came in and move on. I'll give you a quick example. I had somebody that said, I can't remember his name, that was offering gift cards. Win a gift card to any restaurant in the country, in the United States. $100, for example. He said, all I got was a bunch of freebie seekers. Nobody bought. I'm laughing because I asked him the next question. What percentage of people buy your offer in the first place? He said, nobody. I can't get anybody to buy my offer. And like, you're blaming the tool, you're blaming the contest, and you're saying that people won't buy your offer and the contest sucks. You can't even sell your offer in the first place. Don't blame the tool. All right. Should I better emphasize the problem the product solves and bring the freebie only incentivize them to share? Yes, that's a good option. I would put a mention on a share page that if they sign up, they have an opportunity to enter or draw, but at this point, they're not ready to, what? Yes, that is a good potential solution. So what Pat's talking about is to get people to opt in based on a sales page kind of a thing, an offer kind of a page, and then tell them that if they refer people, they'll get some other incentives. Absolutely, you can do it that way. You don't have to do a contest. You can make it a referral program. Yes, absolutely. There's a whole bunch of different ways to do it. That's why that I love this tool so much, is there's a million different ways to craft something. And what you do, Pat, is you test it. You see how it works and you look at the data. Scrolling back down. How do you find out who your best customer avatar is? Joe, I didn't write down, there is an entire show, possibly 2 shows in the archive of the co-pilot shows. Okay. Entire show just on figuring out who your avatar is. Go back and look in the co-pilot archives, pardon me, which if you have UpViral is right in your learning center. Christine, Pat, not as bad as a publisher house giveaway. HGTV does an awesome giveaway yearly. A house. Donations to build for major chains who get advertising. Yes, there's partners. You can get partners. You can do all kinds of stuff. What is business to business campaign pricing? I don't know. Demetrios, I'm not sure what you're talking about. To build a campaign, what you would charge somebody? I'm not sure I understand that question. My rates are probably too high for you. Pat's edit, would I put the draw mention in the opt-in page or only tell the details on the thank you page? It depends. I love that answer. It depends. I have done campaigns where the majority of the opt-in page is to sell the offer. And down at the bottom, right before the opt-in, it says, and by the way, we're giving away a blah, 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 opt-in as an additional incentive so that the, so the idea is just to get their email and then make it $1,000 per campaign plus monthly fees. Are you asking me if that's a good price to charge somebody? Depends upon your market. My prices are higher than that. Is it reasonable for a basic campaign? Yes, but again, it depends. Depends upon the client, depends upon their budget. If it were a large company, I would never charge them just $1,000. I would charge them based on their ability to pay. No, I'm not telling you what my prices are. Pat says, I guess I can do an A/B test and find out. Ding. Yes, absolutely, Pat. Test it. This is why I say over and over and over and over and over, start small, test it, see what works. Do another campaign slightly differently, test it, see if that works. When you figure out what, I go back to the Bradley thing with the survival niche. If you were here before, they tested different offers. When they finally got the right offer, they went all in. They put a ton of money on doing monthly giveaways for those flashlights. It's a $97 offer. It doesn't have to be a huge major prize. $97 flashlight, and they went to town. Got tons and tons of opt-ins. You got to understand your market. You got to do the planning, and you got to understand why people don't share. If you have those 3 things, then you can launch your campaign. If you're just willy-nilly throwing up, I'll go back to Heike with her horse example of a $250 Amazon gift card. It would have failed. She would have run away screaming, and bam, she's done. She did the right offer to the right audience, and she proceeded to do something like 20 other campaigns down the road, monthly. Last question from Pat. what do you recommend if you can't use paid advertising on Facebook? You see that plaque? Do you see that plaque? It says 250,000. I know it's blurry. At 250,000 leads in my UpViral account last year was that number was pulled. I haven't done that many campaigns recently, but that's okay. I usually am doing them in clients' accounts. 250,000 leads here. I can do this. You see this football stadium, Pat? 100,000 people fit in this stadium. Here is 2.5 football stadiums full of people. I'm trying to put this in perspective for you. This was my UpViral account, 261,904 leads. That's how many people that is. 2.5 football stadiums. I'm just estimating, but you get the idea. 1 4/3, not 4/3, 43%. Sorry, 113,000. Trying to approximate that. That number of people were referred. 43% were referred. Is that sinking in? 43%. That number, 250,000, doesn't mean squat unless you understand that of those 250,000, 43% of those were free leads in all of my experience in my UpViral account. Okay, are you ready for the kicker, Jeff? Are you ready for the kicker? I ran 0 ads. That's a 0. It's about knowing where your audience is and putting your message in front of those people. That stuff I was talking about earlier, planning, knowing your avatar, knowing why people don't want to share. 43% free leads with no ads. Now, I will caveat that I don't remember whether or not the clients ran some ads for those. I can guarantee the vast majority of them were not ads. There may have been 1 or 2 in there. They used their existing list. We used Facebook. We used their website. We used YouTube. We used all kinds of different traffic sources to get those 43%. Guess what? Do you know? No, if you don't look at your data, you don't know what to tell people and whether or not your campaign is successful. UpViral gave me that plaque for 250,000. I didn't really care about the plaque at the time because I'm like, okay, 250,000. I put it into perspective with those football images, thinking about how many people that was. And then I went, wait a minute. The top of my UpViral account says that I got 113,000 free leads. That's the number that should be on that plaque. 43% should be on that plaque, not the 250,000. 250,000 sounds like I just bought a whole bunch of leads, right? 43%. If somebody asks me why I'm up here in front of you, I say, well, I do this to clients. I got 250,000 leads, but 43% of those were free referred leads. Let's suppose I can only get 10%. Hey, client, would you like 10% more leads on every freaking marketing campaign you do? They go, hell yes, Mitch. How do I sign up? I said, oh, by the way, I get 43% on average. And they go, how much can I pay you to get that done? You guys have got to pay attention to your freaking data. Pat says, what were you dividing the referred lead figure? All right, let me go back really fast. Great question. Somebody wants to submit this 5 times to UpViral. I have begged them. There's this coming soon number over here. Wilco used to have a compound conversion rate. I keep telling everybody that will listen to me, I don't care about that. If you take this number, referred leads, and divide it by this, that tells you what your referral ratio, that's what I call it, the referral ratio. And I think you can see this. I took 6 referred leads divided by 20, what is it, 23? No, 26. And this is a live campaign that I'm doing right now to sell people stuff. And I haven't done a whole lot of marketing on it, but it's hard to see, but that says 23%, 0.23. So all I'm doing is dividing referred leads by direct leads. So in this campaign, I'm currently getting 23% referred leads. You can do it on your own personal UpViral account. So those numbers that I showed you in the football stadium, that's 262,000 divided into 113,000 to get that 43%. The data's there, they just don't give you the referral number. I love that number because it gives me an idea of how many free leads a campaign is getting. We obviously want that to be, in Wilco talks about the viral aspect, theoretically we want that number to be over 100%. When I'm talking to my clients and students, I don't care about it being over 100%. I want to know that those people are referring other people. I want to know what that percentage is. I want to get that number as high as I can. My friend AJ was getting 300%. During Black Friday, the campaigns that we worked on together, he started out getting 17 people for every person that came in on the front end. The campaign he ran for Black Friday ended up at 700%. That's the power of working with me, tooting my own horn. Last year's campaign, he got 300%. This year, he got 700%. That's quite a significant growth. I don't give you all those secrets here. Sorry. Shh. Some of my personal campaigns for clients have gotten 600–700%. Some of my campaigns for clients have gotten 10%. They're still happy because they got 10% free leads. Christine, yeah, our good friend Deborah hasn't been here because she's had some issues, personal issues, but she would have that link. But thank you, Jeff. I'm sorry, Christine has given the link to an article on the reporting function. I don't think I've actually seen that. Or is that? I don't know what that is. I'm not currently logged in. I am logged in. Let me see. It's making me go to the login page. Anyway, thank you, Christine, for that. All right, anybody else? I know I've gone 40 minutes longer than I wanted to. I was trying to get through it really fast, but you guys know me. I can't. I don't seem to. I said to myself, this is going to be the shortest Copilot show ever when I was starting to figure out what I was going to talk about. Didn't work out that way, did it? And God, I've ignored everybody on the Facebook. Oh, nobody said anything. All right. All right. So let's wrap this up. I know there's possibly a million other things we could talk about. On next week's show, we're going to build a Valentine's Day campaign. Keith says, thanks, Mitch. Really good show. All my shows are really good shows because I know what I'm talking about. I've been through this. Do you guys understand? I've been through the pain. I've been through the struggles. I've been there. 7 years I've been using UpViral. Probably close to 200 campaigns now. I don't know what the total number of leads are. But that's why you show up. Every week you get me for free, or William doing interviews. Pat says, you are the best, Mitch. See you on the client side soon. Thank you. Would love to talk to you about that. Christine, thank you so much for showing that Copilot show about reports. Do you know what was the episode number on that? If you have it handy. Next week, we're going to build a campaign in 30 minutes. Where can I, Demetrios, where can I find the average going rates cost for building campaigns for businesses? There isn't one anywhere that I'm aware of. You're talking about UpViral campaigns? Everybody charges different rates. I had somebody come to me. I don't know whether he's on the call or not. Doesn't matter. But he approached me saying, I want to charge $50 to build a campaign. I said, have you ever built one? He said, no. I said, well, then nobody's going to buy a campaign from you, even at $50 if you've never built one. $50. Episode 19. Wow, that was a long time ago. Probably should do a newer one. When's the next campaign review show? Pat, not sure. Right now we have, next week is the 30, so this is week 2 of January. Week 3 is the 30-minute build. Week 4 is a Q&A. If you want to send it to me for Q&A day, I'll do a review on then. Please do a newer one. Yeah. All right. What I really want to do is have them make some modifications. But anyway, all right. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate each and every one of you being patient with me going through this. There's so much information that needs to be known for creating a great campaign. Please come back next week. Please post in the Facebook group what your biggest takeaway was from today. And please, if you know somebody who is interested in growing their business by adding more leads, send them to the Copilot show. Claudia, thank you. You're welcome. Glenn says, can you share the result of your jewelry? I'll have to look that up. I don't remember what the results were. I will try to see if I can find that by next week. All right. Thank you for tuning in. We will see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. All right. Take care. Bye.